Hey guys, welcome back to Global League Review. So here we have the 1200s game. Once again on Lacrimosa. I think we've had a Lacrimosa game. I think every season for like three in a row. So I don't know. It's a fun map, and I think the matchup here kind of makes it unique. We have Sammy into Lash. So I mean, Lash makes a lot of sense. Sammy. Well, I have no idea. I haven't really seen this replay, so we'll see what happens. But this one was sent in by Activist Victor, who's playing Green Earth here. Um, yeah, we'll sort of see what's going on. This game was. Oh, goodness. This game is from October of last year. Okay, so it's nearly a year old. So I'm sure both of them have grown a lot since this time. But yeah, that is pretty funny. Okay, well, let's just get right into it then. Oh, it's actually not going to be. Hello? Uh, okay, I guess that we don't actually have um, the turn by turn, which is fine because I've actually been. I don't have the hotkey for it anymore because browser differences, and this is fine. Okay. All right, so Activist Victor. You know what? It's very possible I covered this one before, but yeah, we're just gonna do it again. For like the double reaction, same content type type vibe. Okay, so normal moves, normal moves, normal move. Yeah. Now screen to move. Okay, that all looks good. Okay, this mech is really spicy. Feels like, I mean, I guess the concept of like, it's also a Lash mech into Sammy. So I feel like you probably don't need a mech in order to, um, yeah, you probably don't need a mech in order to defend this space, especially into Sammy, whose vehicles are weak. So maybe a tank is my suggestion here. These players are probably going to get mad at me for showing this because, um, I mean, they've improved a lot since October, which, yeah, it's like 9 months ago. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. There's an APC opener on this map, which I think is pretty fun. But obviously, non-APC works too. So Tankia looks good, and actually, surprisingly, Sammy does not build any vehicles. Staring at tank and well, mech, you don't need a vehicle, but yeah, no vehicles for Sammy. Maybe she's just going Sammy mega tank. Okay, so another tank here. So one of the things about high funds is like it's really costly in a way to like it's more costly than usual to build a vehicle instead of a infantry that's going to be capturing things because like the cities are worth more. um so it's okay to like float a bit of money at the beginning, just like have 1,000 in the bank that you don't spend, sorry, 10,000 at the end that you don't spend, um because it's like sometimes you just need to get more infantry out there to capture, so it's not the worst thing in the world at the beginning. Okay, so all right, so now Sammy does mech from every base, which is crazy. Um, and is still floating 22k. So I like the idea. I think I would have liked to see the APC opener with Sammy, just so like you have a way of getting your mechs to the front lines faster. Um, Also, like, yeah, you don't really have enough bases to pump out the number of mechs that you really want to see. So sometimes what you can do is like instead of building an infantry to cap, you can sometimes end up getting away just with building mechs to cap, and it maybe doesn't slow you down depending on the city distance. Like this distance here, like infantry to the city. A mech makes it in 1-2 turns, and an infantry also makes it in 1-2 turns. So maybe this capturing infantry could be a mech if you wanted to sort of optimize for it. Okay, so understandably, Lash here goes up to 4 tanks. They're great for map control, tons of movement. First strike on mechs is pretty brutal, so going heavy into tanks makes sense, but you probably want to tech up to medium tanks and medium tanks, neo tanks, mega tanks. Probably not. Mega tank might be like a little premature, but like tech up to medium tank and neo tank ASAP so that the mechs don't really do much damage to you. Okay, so now Sammy goes triple artillery neo tank. I guess it makes sense with the triple artillery because it's like you can sort of ball up and hopefully not die to tank masses. The neo tank responds to the tanks and has high movement. However, it still sucks because it's Sammy, and Lash kind of counters that pretty hard because her neo tanks are just so much better. Okay, so Lash goes medium tank, so tucking up to heavy tanks right away. That's pretty good. Although I think I would have preferred to see a neo tank instead of one of these medium tanks. You don't really need the tank here, and like it's nice to be able to just match neo tank for neo tank instead of going after it with a medium tank, which it's a little bit dicey whether it works or not. Sometimes you lose the exchange with your medium tank, and then you're like really in trouble. Whereas with a neo tank, you're probably going even. Okay, so like big time artillery spam here, kind of looking like grit. Yeah, these tanks are just running around like chipping infantry left and right. Like already kind of breaching this area. It's like the mech can't reach the tank, the artillery can't reach the tank. Just a lot of pain happening for Sammy right now. Okay, so this is kind of a mega tank for Sammy, which I mean like it sort of responds to the medium tanks, but it doesn't fix her mobility issues. Oh, hold on. What just happened? Okay, so black hole moved. Um, Mega tank is answered. Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, so this like kind of sad Sammy Neo tank has an 8-4 split on a medium tank, which like for reference, that's kind of what you expect from tank versus tank, not Neo tank versus medium tank. So that's kind of sad, and then it gets surrounded and killed, which is like really not what you want to see. Um, so the other thing with this map actually that I didn't really bring up is like it's a lab map, and I think there's 2 labs per player. So like Victory March isn't really a win condition unless you go really crazy and like trade out the territory that like I mean this lab in the very center is easy to capture, but the lab in the corner you have to beat down an entire base. So that's not really what Sammy set up to do. So Victory March, although it can get you a lot of properties, I guess, it doesn't really have that killing blow potential on this map unless you play very specifically. Okay, so moving forward here. Um, yeah, the income difference isn't too bad, but still in Lash's favor. Okay, lots of damage was dealt there. You can see the unit value is pretty much suffering. I mean, the good thing so far is that Sammy does have a fair number of healthy infantry, like healthy foot soldiers for capturing. So that's nice, but we'll see if like the Super CO power can win Sammy much. Okay, so here comes the super. So this the income went from 46 to 58, so actually getting 6 properties, right? 46, 12, yeah, 6. Um, okay, so I got that one, I think, that one, and that one. Okay, so that's like a pretty big income lead, 58 to 38. Pretty substantial, although like not really winning on the unit value yet. Although if Sammy can like endure a few turns, Sammy can um, get a lot of value back from having this income advantage. Although it's going to be hard to hold on to some of these properties. Like this property is going to fall eventually. This property is going to fall soon. This property is going to stay. I guess these two are going to stay for a while because there's no infantry in the region. Yeah, this whole army getting wiped is pretty painful. And then this whole area is pretty doomed. So Sammy doesn't really have much to do anymore. Yeah, it has like a 20k income advantage, but is down pretty far in army value. Okay, so attacks nonetheless over here. Gets like a little bit of territory, but it's going to lose this city. That's a lot of medium tanks to deal with. And then kind of like a half-hearted attempt to like beat down this base, but unfortunately the mega tank build pretty much stops that in its tracks. Okay, so Sammy losing another city here. So for the first time in a while, I think Sammy has a higher unit value than Lash for a very short amount of time. So that's like positive. Yeah, that's like a good thing for Sammy, but oh gosh, Mega Tank on Neo Tank. It's like one of the most efficient attacks in the game. So that didn't last very long. So that's gone, and now Sammy is like a little more than half the unit value of Lash. So I think the game's pretty over now. We can just click through a little bit more. Yeah, just look at how many medium tanks there are here. Okay, another super for Sammy, but there really isn't that much infantry around. So now it's 60k to 40k. Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, Sammy does have some nice things going in terms of properties, but it's going to take so long for the for that really big property gap to catch up in army value. This is a pretty wonky game. Sammy's doing better than I thought she would because in my experience, Sammy really struggles in high funds, like even in her lowest tier. But yeah, this is still kind of like one of those matches that shows exactly why Sammy is not my favorite choice in high funds. So yeah, now the income is pretty much evened out. Sammy is like way down in unit value, way down in unit count. Okay, this looks pretty game over. I mean, it has been for like 20 turns, but okay. Well, I guess the replay is a little bit glitched out. But yeah, GG. I think that this pretty much again sums up why I don't like Sammy and high funds. Victory March is cool. However, unless there's like a idea to attack the HQ with Victory March, like you can get the pretty big city lead if you're on the right map with like the right in the right circumstances. However, like what it comes down to is like the heavy units, like the medium tanks of the world, and everything more expensive than a medium tank. Sammy like is bad at all of those, and high funds is kind of you kind of don't have an option other than to go heavy tanks sometimes. Like mass artillery is just not really an option. Mechs don't do any damage to really heavy units. So Sammy is just like not built for it. It can work maybe on some maps. I haven't really tested it that thoroughly at all, but on many high funds maps, Sammy just really struggles against everybody else, especially those who get boosts for their heavy units. Cool. So yeah, thanks for tuning into the 1200s. Well, I guess like 1200s that were um, not 1200s when this replay was cast, maybe like 900s. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, tune in next time for the 1300s.